code we've got. If you've got a Land Rover, you know what this app is, you know what this tool is. Air spring air supply algorithm based failure. Signals has too many transition events. Cool. So on my trip home, I had the air suspension light turn on this thing on the way home. And now you can kind of see that the front end is a little saggy. So here is how I am going to do the diag to figure out what the hell is going on. Well, I hear something leaking. This is me just putting it in off-road height. There we go. Well, time to order a strut. All right, first step in changing out your front struts is going to be to lower the suspension and deflate all the bags. So you go in your gap tool, deflate all, yes. And then you give it a couple seconds and everything is gonna air out. So you'll be able to swap your bags without fighting air in the shocks. After you deflate your suspension, next thing you're going to do is jack off your Land Rover, get it up in the air, take the wheel off. After you've jacked your Land Rover off, make sure to grab its nuts. Next up is going to be the lower shock bolt. The bolt head facing the front of the car is a 21 mil. The rear nut is a 24 mil. Impact the 24 mil and then work to the front. That way the bolt will come out easier. It is the nicest thing having a car that isn't fucking rusty. The fact that this is 20 years old and I can literally take this apart with my fucking hands makes me so happy being in the Rust Belt. I've done this on one other Land Rover before, or an LR4, and this whole process took me 2 weekends. Next up is going to be the 3 bolts on top of the shock, 15 mil, and then you have an air line. This is where if you have a ratcheting wrench, it's fucking amazing. Sadly, I do not. A ratcheting wrench makes it so much easier. Busted that nut and it was so easy. Oh, it's so nice. Out of curiosity, I decided to look at the date that these struts are on, and they're from August 1st of 07. So these are the original struts, and they lasted 175,000 miles before needing a replacement. That's pretty cool. All right, so I have the strut drop down. Next thing is going to be that airline that also fell with it, and that is going to be a 12 mil to get the airline off. I'm holding it so the whole thing doesn't fall. Once that 12 mil is done, your shock is officially loose. And then you can take it out. And I lost the nut, or the top shock. Sweet. All right, to get it out, you lean it towards the outside of the car, and you just kind of lift it out. This is a million bajillion times easier to do than on the Touaregs. So, I'm sorry Touareg people, Land Rovers are better. So this is completely optional. I am doing this because this car is way too nice for me. I'm trying to keep it nice. I'm wiping it down since I'm getting in here and trying to make it a little bit nicer for when I go through mud puddles in this thing in like 3 weeks when I take it on another road trip. But I'm trying to keep it cleanish. 10 years ago, if I would have seen that some guy cleaning his like frame when doing suspension work, I'd say he's the biggest fucking nerd ever. But when you get old, you kind of turn into a big fucking nerd and do this kind of stuff.
Ooh, ah.
All right, insert it from the top, just like so. I'm gonna start with getting the bottom bolt through there, and then I'm gonna jack the control arm up. So I'm gonna grab that super long bolt. I'm gonna feed it through the bottom. Since I do live in the Rust Belt, I am gonna coat this fucker with anti-sneeze, just to make sure that it's easy the next time it comes out, to where it doesn't get all corroded in there. You can never have too much anti-sneeze. So I use my wife for this because I'm too much of a weakling to get this in. I got the bottom bolt through to where it's holding it from the bottom. Now, finished anti-sneezing the bottom. And then I'm gonna make sure that the air hose is not pinched on the top. And I'm actually gonna try to lower this and then put the air hose through it, and then I'm gonna push everything up and get the 3 bolts from the top. So next step is gonna be lining up the new strut, jacking it from the bottom and pushing it to the top, making sure you're not pinching your airline as you're doing it. Also, there is a bracket up top for the heat shield. Make sure You can kind of see it right there. Make sure that goes through the strut stud. If it doesn't, you're gonna have a nice rattle. You can stop. All right, so getting this airline in is a pain in the dick. You're gonna start by threading on one of the 3 nuts from the top, but you're gonna want it to where the airline fitting is flush with the top of the surface. That way you'll be able to maneuver the green line, the green airline, and then you're gonna go over there and try to insert it a little bit. Once you get it lined up, I use my wife's tiny hands because I've got big ogre hands that can't fit in there. Once we got that in, then I was able to get on the top, push that airline in, and then now I'm going to focus on the 3 nuts. And this is basically done once you get the top good and tight and the bottom good and tight, and then it should be good. And it's broken. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is my life. That way. I love laying over.
How many boys does it take to fix one pucker?
Just one.
Alan's like, I'm the only one working.
Alan's the only one working. This is a union job right now.
So it's 4 months later since the last clip, and I'm editing through the footage of this thing, and I realized I never explained what happened exactly. So basically on the passenger side, the air fitting or the airline popped out of the strut because I had taken it apart, took the little 13 mil out of the air strut, took it apart, put it back together, and I had it flipped 180. Basically, when I was off-roading in Tennessee, I hit one good bump, and the airline basically just shot out of there. So that caused the ending of the last video. It's currently almost July. Things still around, still working on it. Lots of little changes, but I wanted to get this video out. Tomorrow I'm leaving for North and South Dakota for another trip. So hopefully it's good this time around. Also, thank you, Alan, for helping me fix my shit in Windrock. Figured I'd throw out there because I'm useless. So thanks, dude.